Good evening. It is Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021, and coming to you live from the Lonely Tree Media Studios in Yakima, Washington. This is the Best Lamb Sports Show. And I have no music.
Heyo.
All right.
Psych. Everyone here was
Everybody,
expecting to hear music.
every. I don't know what happened. My little sample thing just didn't play. It didn't play a sample.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, there are worse things. So you guys know the tune, right? just
Everyone out there was like, what is this?
just just sing it in your head. You know the deal. And there's no words, so it's really easy. I'm your host, David Lamb. With me is my son Parker. Say hello, Parker.
Hello, Parker.
I have no clips. I have none of those three sounds. I don't have any of the audio coming from the sampler. It's all gone. I don't know what happened.
Oh,
All right, studio audience not here tonight, so
yeah.
there you go.
Studio audience isn't here, so probably none of the other stuff will work.
It's probably going to be a mess. I'm just going to let everyone know.
Just another day at Lonely Tree.
We are we call that Wednesday. We are live streaming on YouTube or on Twitter at Lamb Sports, on Facebook under the Best Lamb Sports Show. You can send us an email, lambsports@gmail.com, and please check out our webpage, which is lambsports.com. You can find links to the past shows and the current trivia question on there. Probably, I'm going to say, because nothing else is working today, so probably all that is correct. I imagine.
I would say definitely.
Okay. Let's way to have an optimistic look at things. It didn't start out great. First segment of the show is brought to you by The Range. The Range is Central Washington's premier indoor shooting destination at 34,000 square feet. The Range is an all-inclusive facility offering firearm training, retail sales and supplies, full gunsmithing and repairs, custom builds, and Cerakote services. It's all under one roof at The Range, open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 7, Sunday 11 to 5. Go see our friends at The Range, 1701 Garrettson Lane in Yakima. Phone number is 509-571-1449. Make sure you mention the Best Lamb Sports Show. Oh my gosh.
That's a lot.
I mean, kind of. So I found this picture, and I loved it. This is this is of course from
Definitely.
from last. It's the picture of of Sam Darnold that I like.
He looks so intense.
It should be on a poster, like a STD poster.
It
Don't
was
get
literally on this
mononucleosis.
Okay.
Don't you get mononucleosis? I mean,
feel
right?
Like he's asking me to join the military.
That's kind of that too. It's kind of what it looks like. I thought it was hilarious, and I hadn't seen it before.
And so a year later, we're bringing it up.
I mean, it has to do with people being injured, because there are some people that are out,
yes.
and so that's kind of one of our topics today, is that NFL has some injuries, and although he isn't injured, and he wasn't really injured when this happened, he was out for stranger things have happened. You get mono at age 20 something. Anyway, I don't know what's going on with Sam Darnold, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Are you ready?
Yep.
We have lots of sports. The Timbers won again. USC rebounded from firing their coach nicely. It wasn't a great week for Pac-12 football teams, but we're going to start with the NFL because it's just so darned exciting right now. The Giants, I think, okay, let's talk about this. I think parity has arrived in the NFL so far this year. It was early, I know, and some of these teams are going to get better and some of these teams are going to get a lot worse. But I think you're seeing a lot of teams that are equal. There's that middle of the pack. You might have one or two great teams and one or two really crappy teams, and I think everybody else could beat anybody else. Do you think that's right?
I don't think that's right. Oh. I think that there are teams that are so distinctly better, and there are still enough of those to where you still don't really feel like it's a thing. I think so. Parity to me is like, you go out and win by 40 one night, you lose by 40 the next night. You win by 40 one night, you lose by 40 the next night. It means it's really shifting both ways, in and out. Not you win by 40 and then you lose by 3 in overtime. It's like, that's not, the other team got lucky. The other team, this happened, that happened. Like, anything can happen to cause you to lose by 3. So having Seattle lose, like having the Chiefs fumble the ball, like, those are answers.
Okay.
Like 9 times out of 10, you're still taking them.
Okay, I'll okay. There are 7. There are 7 unbeaten teams in the NFL right now.
Right.
And there are 6 winless teams in the NFL. That means
That's
there's 19 teams at 1-1.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's where I'm telling you that look at the Packers. Got demolished by New Orleans in game 1. New Orleans gets demolished by Carolina in game 2. That's kind of weird, don't you think? You blow someone out and then get blown out. That's kind of strange. Those are weird. That's a weird thing. We didn't think.
Well, look
New
at the
Orleans...
Packers get blown out in game 1, blow out the Detroit in
yeah,
game 2.
Well,
but are we forgetting it's freaking Detroit?
No, I mean, Detroit's one of those 0-2 teams. I'm just saying, not every team is 1-1 because they played good teams. But I'm just saying, I think anybody's capable of beating anybody except maybe the Vikings at this point, the Jaguars. Anyway,
but like when you say that, are you saying that okay, yeah, the Saints can beat anybody? They could also lose to anybody. Are you still picking them over the Bucks 1-1? I'm not. I'm taking the Bucks.
Well, that's why I said there's 2 or 3 really good teams. You're picking Tampa Bay as one of those teams. I'm absolutely picking.
It's also so early.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. It's early. But for example, Minnesota's 0-2 at the bottom of the NFC North. Their point differential is -4. They've lost 2 games by 4 points. But they're 0-2.
That's not great.
Right. Washington's on top of the NFC East. Their point differential is -3 at 1-1. So there's a lot of close where teams are not, getting blown out, not getting, the AFC North. Baltimore's a -5, Pittsburgh's a -2, Browns are a +6, and Cincinnati is 0, 44 for and 44 against. So the whole point differential in that league is -1 in that division. That's what I mean by parity. I don't know who's good in that division. I can't tell you based on what I've seen yet.
Well, I can tell you that the Seattle Seahawks have the worst defense in the NFC West through 2 games.
Oh yeah, that's true. All right, let's get to what I was talking about. Let's get into this. So when I think we're getting closer, but here we go. Thursday night. This was the game from Thursday night, right? It was no exception as Washington beat the New York Football Giants.
All hail the New York Giants!
And Dustin Hopkins kicked a 43-yard field goal as time expired for a 30-29 win, and I think we're going to see that right now. You ready? Oh,
yep.
Jeez, I forgot to make it big. Here we go.
Happens.
I know, but here you go.
Good snap, good hold. Kick is good. Washington wins it.
So there you go. That was Dustin Hopkins, 43-yard field goal to win it for Washington, but they lost week 1 to the Chargers at home, so also by like 3 points. So they're an even. Anyway, that's what I'm saying. That was Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on the call for the NFL Network. I would talk about another game, right? Chargers-Cowboys, because that was another game that was decided by a field goal, and a long one at that. Greg Zuerlein hits a 56-yarder to beat the Chargers, and that's that's not going to come up. And I've lost Parker.
No, you didn't.
Oh, no, I didn't.
That's not a call, Jimmy. I'll say yes.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. He said no, I didn't. All right, you ready? So here's the call from Tony Romo, really more than anybody, but it's Jim Nantz and Tony Romo as Greg Zuerlein hits a 56-yarder to beat the Chargers.
That's not a call, Jim. Make it. I'll say yes. All right, let's see it. For the win, Zuerlein's kick. Is it long enough? It is into the net for the victory.
So that happened. Also, and then let's talk about another one. So this is what I mean when I say that I think all these games are just, they're so close that I don't know who's a good team and who's a bad team anymore. This is things didn't go well for every kicker. Let's just say that, because this is Minnesota's Greg Joseph. He had a chance to win it over Arizona at the end of regulation, and this happened.
High snap, put down. Joseph, come on! It is good! No, he missed it. Are you kidding me? He missed it right. He missed it right. Oh my heavens!
So that was also a bad day for the announcer. That's Vikings Radio's Paul Allen and Pete Bursich on the call, which is a little embarrassing. I mean,
well, you're playing Vikings radio. Whatever that national broadcast is, probably didn't get that animated about it.
This is not the first time that Paul Allen has made that call, by the way. He's been doing that for 20 years in Minnesota.
Yeah,
but he he's
definitely seen him miss quite a few against Seattle.
This is a couple. This is twice now he's done that same exact call. But that's what I mean. Those three things all decided by a kick at the end. And Minnesota's had that happen twice. They lost in overtime last week to Cincinnati on a field goal, and they
Right.
lose on a missed field goal this week. They're right on the cusp of being 2-0.
Yeah,
But they're also 0-2. So
they're also too.
I don't know
But
how
but
good
they've
they are.
also not played poor opponents.
No, well, I don't know how good Cincinnati is. I really don't. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, but in week one,
Right,
week
doesn't really
one
matter.
you get a little bit of a pass because you don't know how to game plan for it or anything like that. But you knew the Cardinals were good. You
Yeah,
saw what they did to the Titans last
It's
week.
true. The Cardinals are good. That's a good team. So yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a good win for
Yeah,
or
I think so.
a good loss. Let's call it that way. If you're going to
Good
lose,
loss.
I mean, you played a good team and you barely lost, and you had a chance, but
Well, you only get about 8 of those, and you're out of the playoffs. So
yeah,
they've already
that's true.
cashed in too.
That is exactly true. But we saw a number of good games over the weekend. Seattle and Tennessee, for example,
Yeah.
was Seattle's to lose. They're up 24-9, right?
Just collapsed.
And they just collapsed. They just couldn't. They couldn't anymore. Losing 33-30 in overtime to Tennessee, and it was all Derrick Henry in the second half. Once the Titans figured out how to run him, he was all over the place, and they couldn't stop him. Seattle couldn't stop him. So it was all Seattle early, and they had wide open receivers running everywhere. But there must have been some great halftime adjustments by Tennessee. That's all I'm going to say, because they did something great, or Seattle didn't.
Yeah.
Which it's hard to tell, but I feel like
I mean, you're up 24-10 with what's supposed to be a prolific defense.
yeah.
It just wasn't. It didn't cut it. They gave up 21 points in the second half, and they gave up an extra 3 in overtime, and they only scored 6 in that whole time. So for 2 quarters in overtime, they got 6 points to show for it. Like it was not good looking.
The other game we saw that was really good was the Rams Indianapolis, because
Yeah, it was.
that was on here. It's the one I got to see. But the Rams beat Indianapolis on the road 27-24 to move to 2-0. The Rams look really good. I don't know how good the Colts are, but the Rams defense looks really. I know they gave up 24 points on this, but they look really good. You watched it, so
Yeah, they look fantastic.
Yeah.
And as it stands right now, they're still one of the better defenses in the league. I mean, there are a couple defenses that are letting up 21 points and things like that, but they've played extremely well against. And I don't care how you want to think of the Bears. The Bears have a lot of talent, and I'm not sure how you want to think of Carson Wentz. And maybe that's the caveat people go into about this. Like, well, they just played the Bears and the Colts, and it was these guys, and they weren't good. They were on a backup for the Colts for a while. Like, it's not the point. Their defense is coming to play when it matters, and so is Stafford.
yeah, he looks like maybe he's the missing piece that Jared Goff couldn't provide for him. I don't know what the difference is between those two players, but you're seeing Matt Stafford play with exactly the same team basically that Jared Goff had last year. So
and just doing so much. It is not better because the Rams have been 2-0 a lot of times.
Yeah.
Over the past few years, since Jared Goff had been there. But it just the whole chemistry feels different. They feel like they're more energized, like they're more excited, and that's all paying off.
Yeah, and I think that defense is going to win them a lot of football games just from the turnovers and quarterback pressures and things like that Aaron Donald can do that no one else can do. They did have an injury, and we'll talk about it later. Might be a little bit of a factor later. I don't know. But we also watched Kansas City and Baltimore Sunday night. That was another good football game. Lamar Jackson with 2 fourth-quarter touchdown runs to bring Baltimore back over Kansas City, and they win, what was it? I don't even have the score, 36-35. And Baltimore never led this one until that last touchdown with 3:14 to play. And then they left Kansas City all that time. And what happened?
Yeah, and Kansas City was going to win. And then some guy, some no-name running back, and I'm going to call him a no-name running back because he's not one of your top 10 running backs in the league. And if you're not a top 10 running back, then you're really kind of a replaceable back. Like in my eyes, like you have those guys that are constants and then guys that are constantly in shift. And he's one of those guys. Edwards-Helaire, couldn't hold on to the dang ball, man. Fumbled it up. Ravens got it back, killed the clock.
Fumbled it up. So I'm a little hurt by that statement because he's on my fantasy team. But
So he helped you this week?
not at all. But
And there's my point.
he got like 5 points. I mean, what are you gonna do? He had like 7 until he fumbled. But whatever. So anyway, but this is the kind of game that has been happening all year. They've been exciting. Baltimore's been involved in 2 of them.
Yeah, there's
2 of
been
the
some
best
good
games of the
football
year.
games.
Yeah.
And
And
Tampa in that first week against Dallas was
yeah,
really good.
Yeah, there's just been a lot of close football. Some of it was bad football that was just close, but a lot of these games have been exciting. Where teams are scoring back and forth, and or turnovers that lead to scores. That's what makes it exciting, is when it goes back and forth.
But there are still some guys, like we said earlier, there's still some guys that when Tampa was down with 1:15, I still thought they were going to win the game.
Oh, absolutely. I
I
literally
didn't think it was going to be an issue.
I literally said out loud, they left him too much time.
Yeah, and there was a shot, and if you were watching the game, I'm sure you saw it, where they kicked the field goal and they pan over to Tom Brady, and he's slightly looking at the ground, like he's just looking underneath his eyebrows out at the field, kind of angry looking, and I'm like, crap, Tom Brady's about to win this game, and I felt the same way about the Chiefs. I was like, you gave him way too much time. They're about to walk down this field, kick a field goal, and win, and then you took the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. Out of your best playmakers' hands. That team has so many playmakers, and they gave it to their least impressive one.
So, but in defense, there was 3:14 left, and what I've noticed with Kansas City is they rotate offensive players in and out, with the exception of Tyreek Hill, and Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
They got energy for days.
But they rotate guys in and out like crazy, and they're all good. They're all good playmakers. So I think it was just his turn to run the ball, and he got unlucky.
Just didn't pan out,
because they were still trying to. They're trying to milk that 3:14, because you don't want to leave Lamar Jackson, who scored 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, time to come back down the field. So I think that's factoring into a lot of these football games, is that you don't want to leave anybody more than about 20 seconds. If you do, you're risking, them marching down the field in the field goal range and beating you.
I mean, but just looking at their team, in this game, outside of Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, who both had 1 carry, they only ran the ball 16 total times.
Yeah.
But they only threw it 31. Like, they just did not have that much offense all the time. But yeah, Edwards-Helaire got 13 of their 16 carries to running backs, and the other guy had -2. So it was not a good day to run the ball. So why start running the ball? You're smoking them. Just keep your foot on the gas.
I'm a believer in that as well. That philosophy. I mean, I understand trying to take the time off the clock, but if you run down and score a touchdown, then you're going to at least force them to go down and score another touchdown.
Yeah,
so
it's going to take you. Even if you hit Tyreek Hill on a 60-yard streak and he scores a touchdown right now, they're still about to burn a minute and a half, 2 minutes for you,
right?
Driving down the field and scoring.
Yep.
So
there's that.
Yeah. Just kill it. Just kill it off.
We saw a lot of injuries in week 2.
A lot of injuries. Wait, hold on. We're not gonna talk about the Broncos real quick.
You want to talk about the Broncos?
2-0, baby. Undefeated.
It was
currently tied for top of the West over the Chiefs.
It was unimpressive though, because it's impressive. Look at who they've beat. It was the Giants and Jacksonville.
Can we you're given the schedule you're given, okay?
You're always the one who says, "Well, okay, are we overlooking the fact that they played Detroit?" Well,
and so what? When we whoop up on the Jets next week, you're gonna be like, it's just the
Jets.
Yeah,
absolutely. Your first 3 games were gimmies for Detroit, for Denver.
Our next 4 after that, so it was Giants, Jaguars, Jets. Yes, 3-0, and then it's Ravens, Steelers, Raiders, Browns. Crap. Crap.
You're lucky. You're going to be lucky to be 4-3 at that point.
Yeah. I'm really hoping we can come out of that whole stretch like 5-2, and I'll be thrilled. Drop the game to the Ravens, maybe drop the game to the Steelers, but I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, Broncos 2-0. I'm going to celebrate while I can.
Okay, there you go. That might have counted as your minute. I don't know. Tua got hurt for Miami. Who knew that Tua would get hurt?
Who knew that he was fragile?
We didn't talk about that at all, did we?
What expert draft analyses might have predicted that he was fragile?
But he went out with a rib injury. But it's not supposed to be super serious. I don't know. We'll know more.
He's already ruled out this weekend.
Yeah, but you'll get that. Yeah, well, that's true, and that's probably good because if you get him hurt even further, you might be done forever.
There's no point.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has fractured ribs, by the way.
Fractured ribs. Yeah, that might be more than 1 week.
Yeah, that might be more than 1 week. I would guess that he won't be back for a few.
They don't make a flak jacket big enough for broken ribs. TJ Watt for Pittsburgh got hurt. That's a pretty
talk about your all-time bad investments.
that's a pretty big injury. Andy Dalton for the Bears went out, and I'm from what I'm hearing, he's not playing this week. He won't play this week, and so it'll be Justin Fields. I think they've already announced Justin Fields as a starter.
Yeah, well, yeah, Justin. If that's the case, and Justin Fields wins, Andy Dalton's never getting that job back.
You might be right. He may be Drew Bledsoe.
I know we called this on one of our other shows, and I can't remember by what week was he going to be starting.
Did we? I'm gonna have to go back and look.
I'm pretty sure I said week 4. By week 4 he'll be starting, and you were like, I think it'll be like 7 or 8.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
We'll check that out. So Andy Dalton's going to be out. Baker Mayfield went out of the game in Cleveland. He came back in, but he went out with a shoulder injury. So it's something to look at and watch to see how he reacts or if he gets hit again next week. But that would be a gigantic loss for Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also Jarvis Landry for Cleveland.
Yeah, the juice is out, and so is OBJ still.
Yep, they're going to be in a little bit of hurt if Landry can't play. I don't know how good Baker Mayfield will be next week. You know, he obviously came back and finished the game against Houston, but still.
His MRI indicated no structural damage,
Sure.
so he should be good to go. He might just be a little
Tender.
stinger.
Yeah, a little tender.
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb also out
Oh.
again, I guess we should say.
Yeah. he was angry too.
He played one game, right? He didn't play the first
got-
game, and then he played the
He
second
didn't play the first game, played the second game,
Yeah.
got hurt,
Yeah.
re-aggravated the ankle injury. They didn't wait.
Yeah.
He's laying on the field there and he's slapping the ground and yelling at the trainers.
Yeah, it was not a good look. You knew it was
No,
bad.
he was not happy about it. It reminded me of do you remember when who was the safety for the Seahawks who flipped off the bench?
Oh, nope.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, he went to the Ravens afterward.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Anyways, yeah, he wanted a new contract because he was injured and things like that. And they didn't give him one. And then in like the third game, he got hurt and was mad at the team for making him play, even though he was potentially going to get injured. So he was flipping off the Seahawks off bench as they drove by.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny. One of those things I noticed when these pictures are going through, and I see the
Earl Thomas,
and I see the pictures of Tua being carted off, and the very first thing I notice is the first fan that's in the stands in the lower level, and he's wearing a Zach Thomas jersey. How long has it been since the Dolphins had someone to cheer for? Because Zach Thomas hasn't played for the Dolphins in 10 years or more, and I'm sure there's Dan Marino jerseys floating around there because he's the only guy. I'm sure there's still a lot of Tua jerseys. I'm sure they bought a lot of those. That's great, but now he's out. So it's just one of those questions I have. It's like if you look through the Dolphins stands, it's either going to be Tua, Dan Marino, or Zach Thomas, and that's about it. So
yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, Carson Wentz also got injured again.
Plot twist
on this play right here.
For his performance, he's been rushed, sacked, pressured, still gets the ball down the field, still been effective all game long.
And so he got hurt on both. He hurt both ankles. That was
I get it. It looks like he did. It didn't look painful.
That was Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma on the call for Fox. It was the second time, by the way, in Wentz's career when he had his ACL injury. It was against the Rams when he was with Philadelphia. So this is the second time.
Maybe just sit him against the Rams.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you're only going to play him one time a year, right? So just sit him.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't hurt that bad.
I concur.
But it was pretty bad. So far right now, tell me who individually, if you had to crown an MVP of the NFL after 2 weeks, and I know that's a small sample size, but if you had to, who's your guy?
So I wrote it down. I have a tie between two people.
Go.
And it's just because they're different positions, but they are Tom Brady, who is playing the best football of his career.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And then Derrick Henry, who is consistently under-recognized in the MVP conversation.
Okay.
So Derrick Henry is an absolute beast, and Tom Brady is fantastic.
I would throw you another name in there that has a chance if their team does well, and that's Cooper Kupp.
They're never going to give it to a slot player.
You're right, but if he keeps catching 150 yards a game, they're going to have to at some point. He's going to set some sort of record. So I'm just saying, not that he will, but that's about what he's averaging right now. So that's a lot.
Huh.
So, you score, you get 150 yards a game and 2 touchdowns every game. If you catch 32 touchdown passes in a season, how can they not give it to Matt Stafford is what they'll do.
Right.
So
All right, I'm going to hit you with a. Oh, man, because I'm looking at it right now. I'm kind of trying to find the answer here. When was the last time a white non-quarterback won NFL MVP?
whoa. That's a great question.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that one. That one's a good one. That's a great trivia question. We should have hung on to that one.
Should I have saved that one for?
Probably
I already asked
probably
it now.
should. Yeah.
So
Who is it?
it's only happened a handful of times, but the last time it happened was 1982. Guy played for the Redskins, a little kicker named Mark Mosley.
Mark Mosley was the NFL MVP.
1982.
how often
Every
does that
single
happen?
one since then is if they're white, they've been a quarterback.
He's probably the last kicker to win it too, by the way.
So there was a right outside linebacker, Lawrence Taylor, in 86. He was a kicker in 82. There was a couple running back, quarterback, running back, quarterback, running back, quarterback,
Yeah.
running back, quarterback.
Look at that.
And then a couple fullbacks in the 1960s.
Back when they used to use
Jim
fullbacks.
Brown won 3, and he's officially listed as a fullback. So,
Sure.
yeah, so you can categorize that how you want. But everyone else who wins it is a quarterback or a running back. And if they're white, they're a quarterback.
Yeah, right?
So though I'm telling you, history's against Cooper Kupp just from that, just from being a wide receiver 1 and being white 2. So he'll need to average 2,000 yards receiving and have a good 25 touchdowns
I mean, he
to
could.
go with it if you want to be considered.
He could.
And then he's still gonna have to get over the hype train that is Tom Brady.
I agree. So here's your schedule for week 3. Oh wait, no, we didn't talk about one more thing.
One more thing.
What's the biggest surprise team at this point?
Oh, Carolina, for
yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
Carolina's played good football 2 weeks in a row against decent teams, and I don't know how. I'm still trying to piece that one together, but they're doing it.
And who's the underperformer so far?
The team that has not played as well as they should. Oh, that's so I was thinking about the Colts because I had personally high hopes for the Colts.
Yeah.
But it was Carson Wentz. You're not sure what you're going to get. So I'm going to go with the Giants.
Okay.
Every year the Giants add pieces. They say they're going to get better, and you're kind of hoping. And when you look at their team, you go, yeah, there's some good things on here. And then they're 0-2.
And then
You're like,
just
what's
like that.
happening?
Just like that.
Yeah,
they're going to.
Jacksonville would be another good one to throw in there.
And I think you might be able to throw Seattle from that loss against Tennessee into this mix.
Yeah, that was a pretty big loss.
That's a pretty
Hell,
big loss.
you could throw Tennessee into that because they lost their
right,
first game.
Right, yeah. Both those teams probably.
Yeah. Jacksonville had the most expectations of improvement.
Yeah.
And they are doing nothing to show that.
No.
So
And as you can see here, week 3 they're going to host Arizona. It's not going to get any better.
yeah, it's not a good look for them.
When you're the worst team in the league and they put out the schedule the next year, which is supposed to be the easiest schedule, right? And
Allegedly.
but everyone on that schedule had a better record than you last year. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
You
if
can only
it's
go
the
up from
easiest.
here, right?
I mean, you're gonna get the Jets, sure, but I mean you gotta play.
Yeah, but the Jets also finished better than you. So.
You got to play Tennessee and Indianapolis. They're in your division, and Houston is playing pretty well. I think better than. But then we can talk about Tyrod Taylor, by the way, also injured. That's a big play because Davis Mills of Stanford is going to be the quarterback for Houston next week. He's the guy. Whether he is or not, he's the guy. So this is the schedule for week 3. Of these games here. And I'm going to take away the Tampa-Los Angeles game, which is of the rest of the games here, which one would you want to see? If you can only watch one of those outside Tampa Bay and LA, which one?
Well, from a personal fan standpoint, I'm going to go with the Chargers-Chiefs.
Chargers-Chiefs.
Divisional game. You got, two young quarterbacks, an MVP on one side and a rookie of the year on the other. just a lot of good storylines. Are the Chiefs going to respond after their loss? Are the Chargers going to bounce back after their loss? Are they actually going to get their footing like everyone's expecting them to? Yeah, I think that'd be a pretty good game.
Chargers actually beat them once last year, but that was the last game of the season. It was the last game of the season when no one played for Kansas City.
I was just about to say when Mahomes was still on the bench.
Yeah, but they only lost the first one barely. I mean, it was a last second field goal. So they lost a lot of games like that last year. The Chargers did. So we'll see. And they've already got one under their belt with the loss to Dallas.
One of those close losses again. Yep.
It's frustrating. But anyway, I think there's gonna be a lot of close games this year. I think it's going to be closer. The teams have come closer together, minus a few. So I think you're gonna see a lot more good games, which is exciting. I love the football so far. It's been great. I mean, it really has.
What's the game that's on your radar this week?
Well, if I had to, I would have. So the injuries have caused me a lot of grief here, because I would have said that maybe the Miami Vegas game would have been a good game to watch.
Yeah.
Right. But now I'm going to go with Chicago and Cleveland.
That's a good one. I thought about that one too.
Yeah.
Justin Fields getting his first full start.
Yeah. And we'll see if Baker Mayfield's healthy and plays the whole game and doesn't have any injuries. But I mean, Cleveland's going to be down a little bit, so maybe it gives Chicago a chance on the road. I don't know.
Yep.
We'll see. I don't think Chicago's bad. I don't think that's a bad football team. I think they have a lot of talent, and their defense is pretty good. I just don't know if Justin Fields is ready to be that guy. But
and I'm also not sure if Matt Nagy is that guy.
Right. We're going to find out. I mean, yeah, we got 15 more games. We're going to know a lot about him by the time we're done. So, trivia question. Are you ready? Because that's what we do
We're
here.
ready.
Trivia question is NFL this week. The Stave and Stone trivia question. Week 2 in the NFL, and teams were looking to avoid that 0-2 start.
Right.
And why? Since 1990, 258 teams have started 0-2. 11.6% made the playoffs. Only 3 teams have started 0-2 and gone on to win the Super Bowl. Can you name all 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I like it. That's a lot of confidence. I think you're full of crap, but I think that's a lot of confidence.
I think I got it.
All right. We're going to take a quick look. Excuse me. Take a quick look at the baseball standings. Here's your American League standings up to date, up to the minute. Tampa's the only one that's secured a playoff spot at 94-59. They have it's the second best record in baseball, but they're right there. And then you have Boston, the Yankees, and Toronto all vying for this wild card spot. Boston currently holds the first wild card. The Yankees and Toronto are dead even for that second wild card spot. White Sox are leading the Central. Houston's going to win the West. It is only 2.5 games. I mean, it's wild card. Sorry. Houston's going to win the West. So Oakland and Seattle are not out, but I would consider them out. They haven't played well enough to do anything. So not when it mattered anyway. So there's that. And then the National League, Atlanta wins the worst division in baseball, and probably they haven't even won it yet. They're only 3 games ahead of Philly. Milwaukee's clinched the playoff spot. They were well above everyone else in the Central, but St. Louis is hot. They've won 10 straight. That puts them in the wild card right now. They have wild card spot number 2. Because San Francisco and the Dodgers are 98-53 and 97-54, and they're vying for division lead, but the loser gets the first wild card game. We're going to have a 100-win team that's going to play in a loser-out wild card game, and I don't know if that's fair. So maybe the seeding needs to be rearranged. We need to figure this out based on total record and not allowing Atlanta to just get in because they won the division in a crappy division. Or whoever.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. So, I don't know. That seems unfair that the Dodgers will probably have to play St. Louis in a one-game winner-take-all to get into the playoffs. I don't like it. But, hey, that's how it is. That's how they set it up. It is what it is. So, there you go. That's your current MLB standings. It's not exciting. We'll talk about it more next week when we know more. We may even have some matchups set up. So, next week is the last week. It ends on Sunday, I think. The last week for MLB baseball. Is that right? No, not next week. It's the week after.
Week after, yeah.
I don't know. Well, now that I say it, none of it sounds right. So
it is what it is.
No, it's next week. It's next Sunday. Next Sunday the 2nd. Is that right?
Sure.
Is the last. Anyway, whatever. long story short, whatever. So we are at our halfway point, and second half of the show, or second segment, whatever you want to call it, brought to you by BossKittyShop.com and BossKittyLive.com. That's Boss Kitty hand-dyed yarns. Be sure to tune in to BossKittyLive.com at 6 p.m. every Monday and Wednesday, and 11 a.m. every other Sunday for fun fiber games, tutorials, the occasional F-bomb. Go to BossKittyShop.com and get your DK and fingering weight yarns, as well as stitch and progress markers. Looking for a gift? Get them a Boss Kitty Shop virtual gift card and let them pick it out themselves. That's Boss Kitty hand-dyed yarns. Yarn so boss, you'll knit your pants. So we're going to talk about Major League Soccer real quick, because that's what we're on to. The Timbers beat I don't even have it here. Do I have it here? I have it here. The Timbers beat LAFC 2-1 on Sunday to extend their unbeaten streak to 5 games. They're 4-0-1 in their last 5. Score was tied 1-1 in the 68th minute when let's see if I can, what happened to it? When this happened. See if I can get it to come up here, because the world is not cooperating with me.
On the giveaway, Moore was up for it. Here's Blanco now. Blanco for the byline. Drew ball knocked in. And there goal! Portland retakes the lead. It's George Foshive.
That was George Foshive with the header off of the Sebastian Blanco cross, giving the Timbers a 2-1 win at home over the LAFC. And LAFC is a playoff team. That they're right behind Portland. They're battling for a playoff spot. These are big wins. Portland has 2 games against Real Salt Lake in their final. They only have 9 games left. 2 of those against Real Salt Lake, who's right behind them as well. They can create some separation and get themselves, make sure they get a playoff spot. They've been battling all year. They've been kind of hovering around that playoff line, but now they've kind of secured their spot, which is good. It's good to see, and it's good for Portland. And you know, Portland considers itself that big soccer city.
They really try to.
They really try to. Their next home game is against Real Salt Lake. Next game is at home against Real Salt Lake. It's on Saturday, 7:30 on ESPN Plus. Sorry if you don't have ESPN Plus, but that's
tough stuff if you don't have ESPN Plus.
That's where it is. And so these are the Eastern Conference standings in the MLS right now. This is on MLS.com. You can go find it. But I've said it all year. New England is the class of the league. A gigantic lead over Nashville and others. And then the Western Conference. Whoop. There you go. There's your Western Conference standings right now. Kansas City leads. In Kansas City, Seattle, and Colorado separated by 2 points. And then you have that next group, the LA Galaxy, Portland, Real Salt Lake, separated by 2 points. So there's a lot going on right there. A lot of teams hovering around the playoff line, and we'll see more. We'll know more later. I mean, there's still 9 games. The freaking season goes till November.
Yeah, a lot of time left.
The regular season ends in November, and I say that it sounds like a long time away, but we're almost in October. So what do we got to talk about, Parker? What's next?
What is next is college football.
It's college football. We are talking
it's my favorite time of the day.
Right? It absolutely should be. We are going to talk about college football right now and the Oregon Ducks. They moved up to number 3 on the AP poll this week after beating Stony Brook. Which one of these is which? Here you go. They beat Stony Brook 48-7. That win, coupled with Oklahoma's struggle to beat Nebraska in Norman, was enough to gain some votes and slide into number 3. The start of the Stony Brook game was delayed over 30 minutes due to weather, which just rain. I mean, it rained like a son of a gun.
Yeah, which is great because we hadn't had rain for like 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen a game in Eugene delayed by rain, but there was so much of it. It was pouring down the stands. And if you've ever been in Autzen Stadium, it's just a big concrete bowl, so everything kind of funnels down towards the field.
That's true.
Yeah, but so Ducks started slow, right? And I'm wondering if that wasn't due to the weather delay. They were ready to play, and then all of a sudden you got to wait. Come off the field and do what you got to do, and that's hard on a team maybe. But they started a little bit slow, got out to a 10-7 lead, and then started building after that. It was the end of the first quarter. It was 10-7. It was 17-7 at the half. There was a minor injury to Anthony Brown. Not sure how significant it was, but he's listed as the starter for this weekend. So
right.
it couldn't have been too bad. but it gave the opportunity for Ducks fans to see freshman Ty Thompson. And he delivered. I thought he looked really good. Tell me if I'm wrong. But
I agree.
Yeah, I think he looked pretty good. He was 6 of 9 for 82 yards, 2 touchdowns. One of those is right here. If I can get it to do what I want it to do. One of that thought, because nothing's working the way I want it to. Because you know how that goes, right?
Entire life in my entire career.
Sometimes it just does not go.
Sometimes your things are not your friends. So here we go. This is one of those touchdown passes from Ty Thompson.
Oregon takes over, and immediately the offense to work. Dante Thornton, the first touch of his career, goes for a touchdown.
So that was. Did we even see it? It wasn't even. I didn't even do the thing, did I? It was still on the pictures, so I didn't. No one even saw that clip. But that was. That was the audio. Oh my goodness, that was the audio. That was Guy Haberman and Shane Vereen on the call for the Pac-12 Network. But that was Dante Thornton's first touch of a football in a Duck uniform, and he goes for a touchdown. Made a good move, broke a tackle. He looked good. Ty Thompson looked good. A lot of freshmen. Jay Butterfield also got to play in this one. But this is the why you schedule the teams like Stony Brook. This is the reason, because you get an opportunity to play a bunch of players, and especially if someone's hurt, it gives you a chance to rest a player. And yeah, Oregon didn't look good early, but they turned it on in the second half. Yeah,
did what they had to do when it mattered.
And
it was what it was. They beat a much worse team.
Yeah, and they're a 42-point favorite, and they won by 41. So you can't ask for a whole lot more. So they did what they had to do. A win's a win.
I really did not know that was Shane Vereen, by the way.
Shane Vereen, yeah, that's Shane Vereen.
When you
other
just
guy.
said that, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Shane Vereen? The Shane Vereen?
Yeah.
Sure enough.
Sure enough.
Yeah.
But, so Ducks get a win, and that's all that matters, right? They kick off Pac-12 play with Arizona in Autzen on Saturday night. I will be at that game. Yeah, so might have to do a little live check-in, catch a little video of it.
I'll say just film yourself in the stadium giving an update. This is currently the third quarter, and blah, 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 and then we'll just play that clip live.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. So,
especially the blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to say. That's exactly how I have it written down, too. That game is on ESPN at 7:30, so everyone in the world can watch it if you want to. Arizona's bad. I'm just going to give everyone the heads up. So this I'm anticipating an Oregon win. I'm not going to say by how much, but I figure Oregon is a much better football team than Arizona is right now. They're a mess. So, but stranger things have happened. So, and it's going to be a beautiful day. 83 degrees in Eugene on Saturday. So,
oof,
I know, right?
Nice.
Almost a little warm. But anyway, so how do you feel about the Ducks being ranked number 3? Did they need to move up, or did they deserve to move up? Do you think Oklahoma was just overrated all along and should never have been there anyway?
They didn't deserve to move up. Oklahoma did deserve to move down. So that was just the natural order of things. You know what I mean? They were going to move up. They were going to move down. But no, they did not deserve to move up after when you beat them. You were expected to beat them. You didn't even cover the spread.
Right?
It's what we all expected of it. So no, you didn't deserve credit for doing what everyone expected you to do. But Oklahoma did not do what everyone expected them to do. They deserved to be punished.
Yeah, and that's
it just kind of worked out that way.
And that's like 3 weeks in a row for Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma's been struggling this year.
They've struggled with everybody just about. So I don't. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Oregon State, right? Won,
right.
And this clip here kind of sums up what happened with the Oregon State Beavers on Saturday against Idaho.
With Romano in the game at running back. Beaudry lost the ball, and Simon Sandberg falls on top of it.
If you didn't see it, it was quite funny. I mean, it happens, right? You just lose.
It really does.
It was damp. Oregon State was playing with the same conditions Oregon was playing. It was wet. The field's wet. The balls are wet. I get it. That ball just slips out sometimes. Ask Jameis Winston. That field wasn't even wet. But
Well, no, he just threw that one.
That one was
chucked it behind him on
and
accident.
knocked over the referee with it. I don't know. But
What a great memory. Thanks for bringing that up.
and that was Rich Burke and Nigel Burton on the Pac-12 network. They beat up on Idaho. It was 42-0 in Corvallis. Chance Nolan was 14 of 19, 175 yards, 3 touchdowns for the Beavers. B.J. Baylor rushed for just 69 yards. We were just talking about him last week, about how great he was. But only 69 yards, but 2 more touchdowns. This one's never in doubt. Oregon State scored 14 points in each of the first 3 quarters and just destroyed an inferior FCS team. Oregon State. Oregon State will open Pac-12 play at USC on Saturday. That game is on Fox Sports 1 at 7:30 p.m. So if you're not watching the Oregon Duck game, you should watch the Oregon State Beaver game. Just saying.
Yeah.
And speaking of USC, and were we? They lost their head coach, changed their quarterback.
Yeah.
And then they fell behind Washington State 14-0 up in Pullman. But then all of a sudden something clicked. Something went right. 45 unanswered points. They win 45-14 on the road. Freshman Jackson Dart was 30 of 46 for 391 yards and 4 touchdowns to lead USC. He got injured late in the game. I don't know how severe it was, but you might be seeing Keaton Slovis again. He's listed as questionable for the Oregon State game. Drake London had 13 catches, 170 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He is a really good wide receiver. It doesn't matter who's throwing him football.
Yeah, he's good. Fantastic.
USC rebounded from that loss to Stanford, so they're 1-1 in Pac-12 play. USC had only 48 yards rushing in this, and 32 of them were from Dart. Is that concerning if you're a Trojan fan?
No. I mean, you always want to say, oh, well, if we're not running the ball, it's a problem. But if you're throwing the ball fine, it's not a problem. Ask the Chiefs.
True.
They were throwing the ball just fine. They weren't running the ball very well. And they decided to rely on running at the most crucial moment. And, yeah, they paid then.
That's true.
Don't worry about that. Go with what's working. Every game is different. The flow is different every game. You don't have, just because you can't run the ball doesn't mean you have to figure out what's wrong. It just wasn't that day. They figured it out. They planned for it. But guess what? They didn't plan for everything else.
It's true. Yeah. It looks bad. I wonder if when they get into a close game and they need to milk clock or need to work the clock, will they be able to? If you can do it with that short pass West Coast thing, then great. But sometimes you just need a running back to pound out 1 yard. We'll see. I mean, we'll see how it goes. And I don't even know Jackson Dart's going to be able to play. He had a great first game as a freshman. That is a fantastic way to debut. And then you got hurt.
Yeah.
So.
Injuries.
But I said earlier in the year, before we started, I think, they keep telling me how good Keaton Slovis is. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So, but let's not forget that the Trojans are 3-1 or 2-1. Sorry.
Right.
They're 2-1.
Yeah.
They're not like they didn't lost everything. They did lose to Stanford. Yeah. But they haven't lost everything. They're still a good football team. And I'd be careful if I'm playing USC. So.
Right, they're still in the hunt, even though people are kind of counting them out.
Yeah, and that's a dangerous team with a lot of weapons. Rest of the Pac-12 scores: Fresno State beat number 13 UCLA in Pasadena 40-37. Jake Hayner of Fresno, he seems like the legit quarterback. He went for 455 and 2 touchdowns against UCLA after having a really good game against Oregon.
Seems like the real deal.
Yeah, I don't know why he's not playing on a bigger team. Right?
You're gonna have somebody else about that.
People pass.
That's the decision above our head.
Yeah, people start passing on guys, and you go, well, whatever. And then all of a sudden, they start popping off at these small schools, and you go, how come we don't have that guy? Number 23 BYU moved to 3-0, all against Pac-12 teams, with a 27-17 win over number 19 Arizona State. So BYU leads the Pac-12 at 3-0.
Jeez,
right?
Best team in the Pac-12, but they haven't played Oregon.
They have not, and they won't this year. The Sun Devils never led this one, fumbling the opening kickoff, which led to BYU's first score. It was embarrassing. That was an embarrassing. I mean, it's the number 23 team in the country who's moved up since then, but Arizona State, you're supposed to be good, right?
You're making us all look bad, dude.
UCLA and Arizona State. I'm looking at both you guys. Come on now. Minnesota shut out Colorado 30-0 in Boulder. The Buffs have scored just 7 points in their last 2 games. And in that time, they've managed a total of 171 yards passing. For both games.
Wow.
Total for both games. 80 something in one and 70 or 90 in another. I mean, it's ugly.
Yeah, not good at all.
In addition to being bad at passing, Colorado had minus 19 yards rushing as a team against Minnesota. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Colorado's trying to challenge Arizona for worst team in the Pac-12.
Yeah, they're all trying to put their best foot forward at being the worst foot forward.
Putting their best foot forward at being the worst foot. I like that. California beat FCS Sacramento State 42-30 for their first win of the year. Not that exciting, but for a Cal fan it is. Washington beat Arkansas State 52-3 for their first win of the year.
Yep.
We shouldn't be talking about that during week 3, but we are. Utah lost again, this time to San Diego State 33-31. The Utes are 1-2 to start the season. That's their worst start since 2007. Quarterback Charlie Brewer, who is a transfer from Baylor, he's left the program after being benched in this one. That brings me back to a whole thing we haven't even talked about yet with the transfer portal and people leaving and being free agents. And he's probably on the hunt looking for his third team, right, in 3 years.
Yeah.
So, I don't like that at all, but okay, it is what it is.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it at some point. We have to find a way to talk about it civilly because we're gonna get heated.
Yeah, that whole thing's it's a cluster, but he's leaving the school. He's quitting. He's quitting that football team.
Yes.
Right? That's what you're supposed to do, right?
Yes, correct.
If you're gonna do it, just quit and then see if somebody else will take you.
That's true. But
that's not the same as like, oh, I'm gonna transfer and they have to approve it and the other team has to agree to it and blah blah blah. You're just quitting. He might not play football again.
He might not. You're right. Maybe,
who knows?
Maybe
he's not an NFL guy, so he's not that good. Who's going to take a chance on him? So it might not mean anything.
Utah did. So, but
no, I'm talking about past this point. The guy who's already transferred one time and then quit after he got benched.
Right.
Who's going to take a chance on him?
Chance. Okay, gotcha.
It wasn't a chance before.
I guess. Okay. Stanford won at Vanderbilt 41-23. Hey, there's a big win in the IQ Bowl. And then Arizona made it official that they are the worst team in the Pac-12 by losing their third straight game, this time to FCS Northern Arizona, 21-19 at home. Not that Northern Arizona is terrible, but Arizona is. This is just a bad team. Okay, so
not good at all.
Not good. A lot of those losses don't look good on the Pac-12, just in general, just dragging us down as a whole conference. But it is what it is. Number 1, Alabama beat number 11 Florida in the Swamp 31-29. Made Alabama look a little vulnerable, but not terrible. I don't know how good Florida is, but they missed an extra point at one point that really cost them because if they had made that extra point, they wouldn't have been down 2 at the end. They scored and went for 2 to try and tie it up because they had to. If they make that extra point, then they kick an extra point at the end. It would have gone to overtime probably. Anyway, but it was a good game to watch. Number 3, Oklahoma, as we said, struggled all day, but they managed to beat Nebraska 23-16. And by the way, we think that Lincoln Riley is the first head coach in NCAA football history to challenge his own team's interception.
Interesting.
For field position. They intercepted a ball on 4th and whatever from the 20-yard line at the 3. And he challenged it, said maybe he bobbled it, and maybe he didn't have possession. So maybe we should get it at the 20 instead of the 3 because they were struggling. They needed that 17 yards. But he may be the first ever to challenge his own team's thing. We don't know for sure. Number 6, Clemson struggled at home against Georgia Tech, winning 14-8. How bad does Clemson look?
They do not look very good. No, they look terrible.
Ohio State struggled with Tulsa into the fourth quarter until a couple of late touchdowns that made the win look bigger than it was at 41-20. It was 27-20 with like 2 minutes gone in the fourth quarter. Tulsa was in that game most of the game. That didn't help Oregon either.
No.
So,
but we're where we're at now. It doesn't matter.
It shouldn't.
You're at 3 now. If you win your games, none of that other crap will matter.
Right. It shouldn't matter from here on. You're absolutely right. You
continue to do your job, and nothing else will matter.
Take care of business. TCB. Number 10, Penn State beat number 22 Auburn 28-20 at the Whiteout in Happy Valley, despite what Auburn said about Whiteout. I don't remember what the comment was, but whatever. So, go State.
That's right.
Number 24, Miami, proved that they were pretenders.
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
So
Well, we didn't let them
we
off
didn't
the
really
hook.
leave them off the hook, I guess. So they are who we thought they were, though. They're bad. They're not a top 25 team, let alone a number 14 team in the country that Alabama got credit for beating in week 1. But they got hammered at home by Michigan State 38-17.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, Michigan State is 3-0, by the way, and so is Michigan. So we might be seeing something different in the Big Ten this year. I guess we'll know more later.
Yeah, a lot of time left.
A lot of time left. NCAA games this week. In week 4, number 12 Notre Dame is versus number 18 Wisconsin. It's at Soldier Field in Chicago because Notre Dame doesn't play anywhere anymore. They don't go to your
Right.
place.
If it's not at home, it's not anywhere.
That's at 9 a.m. on Fox. Number 7 Texas A&M plays at number 16 Arkansas. That's at 12:30 p.m. on CBS. Number 4 Oklahoma plays host to West Virginia in their Big 12 opener. That's 4:30 p.m. on ABC, and I'm going to say that's the upset of the day.
Ooh, that's fair.
I'm calling
I agree.
I'm calling West Virginia with the upset in Norman over Oklahoma. They've been flirting with losing all year. West Virginia is the team that's better than those teams they've played.
100% agree. That's the one.
Okay. All right, we're excited about it because I'm
actually really excited.
It won't do anything. It won't do anything for Oregon because they're already ahead of Oklahoma. But it'll be bad for all those other teams that Oklahoma has played and beaten. And I didn't ask you. If you had a minute. Do you have a minute? Do you have something to talk about?
I do not. No. I didn't have enough time today. I was working all day. I didn't have time to get a minute.
Do you want to make something up?
Yeah, sure.
Anything we've talked about today?
Nope. I got something now.
Go. All right, go.
So I hate regional things. So as Pops here can attest to, there's a drink that I like. It's called the Corona Refresca, and somehow it went from being extremely available in the Portland metro area to being not available at all. However, it has migrated north to Yakima, where it is now abundantly available. And so I think this is a regional thing. They're releasing it in certain places, or maybe it sold really well last year in Yakima, but sold okay in Portland to just me and AJ. So they have to take it somewhere. It's just the two of us drinking it pretty much. So they've moved it on out, and that's really frustrating. Give everything to everyone. The internet has made us greedy. Give us everything. Why are you hoarding some of it and just selling it in Yakima? Well, there's plenty of us down here who will drink it.
Right.
So that's my minute.
I agree with you. When we moved out here from Tennessee, we moved out west from Tennessee, all of a sudden you couldn't get barbecued anything out here. The barbecued items were minimal, but everything had a barbecue flavor in the grocery store, right? Potato chips and this and that and everything. I mean, barbecued Ruffles are the first example. You can't get them. We can't get them. I don't even know if they make them anymore, but they don't sell them here in this area. But I bet if you go to Tennessee, you'll find them. Anyway, just saying, it's a regional. You're right. Those regional things, you get used to one thing, and the thing that you like, and you can't. If you move, you can't get it. The Refrescas, they're still selling them at the store. I can buy all you want. So.
Yeah, I'm dead serious though. I'm gonna put this on air. So that's how important it is. Anytime you go to the store, just grab a pack of them.
Okay. All right.
And we'll get a tab rolling, and by the end of it all, we'll have to settle that. Yeah.
All right. I like it. So let's do the trivia question.
Trivia.
The trivia question brought to you by Stave and Stone Wine Estates in Hood River. The winery at the vineyard is open 12 to 6 daily, indoor and outdoor seating. They got a wine garden outside. It's beautiful. Open from 12 to 6. The wine garden is open 12 to 6 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then the indoor part. Wow. The regular part is open 12 to 6 daily. Wow, it's confusing. The downtown tasting room, 210 Oak Street, they're open 12 to 6 Thursday through Sunday. If you call 541-946-3750, that's 541-WINE-750 for more information, or you can get a reservation. You can make a reservation online. You're looking at the website right here. Click on that blue button right there. Make a reservation. Please make a reservation ahead of time. There is still some limited seating and COVID restrictions and blah, 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 blah. But, you can email them also, info@staveandstone.com for more information. You can go on their website, check out the selection of wines. You can order them right there and go pick them up. You can get them delivered locally. But that's Stave and Stone Wines with personality. So let's talk about the trivia question. You remember what it was?
Yes, I do.
Only 3 teams have started 0-2 and gone on to win the Super Bowl. Can you name all 3?
I can name 2 of them.
No, hold on. When I asked it the first time, you said, "Yeah, I got it."
Yeah, I got 2 of them.
There was a lot of confidence. So what do you got?
I got 2 of them.
What do you got?
So I got Brady and Eli. So that's 2 of them. Patriots and Giants. I did in the thousands. One was, I think, was like 07. One was the year when Eli beat the Patriots, I think, in the Super Bowl. So like 07 or something like that.
That's 07.
And then the Patriots one, I can't remember, was earlier than that sometime. The other team is the team I'm not sure about. And let's just throw it to the board. Let's say it's the Eagles.
Yeah,
Eagles.
That's a great guess. But it's
Yep.
not.
That's what I'm going to go with.
So the answer is yes. The 07 Giants, led by Eli Manning, Michael Strahan, amongst others.
Yep.
Right?
Did they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl?
They did. They beat the undefeated New England Patriots.
Right.
What's his name? David Tyree with the catch on the head.
Oh, yep.
That was the win. The 2001 New England Patriots, led by Tom Brady and Titans head coach Mike Vrabel.
Woo.
They actually started 1-3 that year. And then the 93 Dallas Cowboys, led by Troy Aikman.
I was in the division.
You were in the division. You're not wrong.
Crap.
I mean, it's not.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Well, yeah, I suppose. I mean, you only got one of the years, and you got 2 of the teams, so it's like half. I'm gonna give you half credit.
I only got one of the years. I only said one of the years, but with the Patriots, I knew it was before
the Giants.
The Giants. So I there was only 6 years of thousands. I said they were both in the thousands. I pretty much got it. I threw it in the air. It's on the dartboard. It counts for points. It's just not a bullseye.
I mean, that's what I always say when I pretty much got it. I mean, I may not have been exactly right, but I pretty much got it. Funny. I'm trying to pull up our website and it's not working. That's a bad sign, right?
Website crashed.
I just punched in the wrong thing. That's all it was.
Oh.
My fingers are fat, so there's a thing there. But there's the website in case you want to see it. This is what we got on the Best Lamb Sports Show. If you go to lambsports.com, you can find all this information. You can subscribe to us. You can get the trivia question, and there's a little clicker here that'll take you right to the webpage for the answer. Lots of information on here. Links to the past shows. You can watch, listen to any of these shows you want to. It only holds so many, but it has some. A little photo gallery at the end. Anyway, it's a work in progress. Eventually, we're going to sell merchandise on here. That's the plan. Don't know when that's happening yet, but we'll let you know. But that's all we have for today. We'll be back next week with more college football, NFL news, MLB, MLS, Formula One is in Russia. So there's probably going to be a collision or drama or both.
Classic.
I mean, I feel like that has to happen.
Yeah, I really hope it's good.
Wrong spot. I feel like that has to happen next week. I was going to try and find the music, but I think it's just we're at a lost cause here at this point. I can't seem to get. Let's try this. Let's see if we can hear this.
Yep.
There you go.
There it is.
Again, we're live streaming on YouTube every weekend. We are on Twitter at Lamm Sports. We're on Facebook under the Best Lamb Sports Show. You can email us, lambsports@gmail.com. We want to thank ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS, Minnesota Vikings Radio, our sponsors, The Range in Yakima, Boss Kitty Yarn, Stave & Stone, White Estates, in Hood River. This has been a Brain Rock production, a division of Lonely Tree Media. This is the long outro.
This is the long one.
And apparently I don't have enough stuff to cover it. But this has been a Brain Rock production, a division of Lonely Tree Media, LLC. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you